Marvel Studios has had plenty of ups and downs since the beginning of its first initial phase, but Phase 4 has become the most divisive amongst fans because of various reasons, and certainly there is a lot to point at and go, well, that's gone down in quality. So now the director of the upcoming Fantastic Four reboot, aka Matt Shakman, talks a little bit about what's been going on, and specifically about the troubles facing the MCU. Let me get this out of the way. Of course, I'm going to be critical and point out the fact that Marvel Studios has issues, and that they're currently facing a lot of issues, much like many other people in Hollywood, which we've pointed out multiple times on the podcast or discussions. It's just very much evident that a lot of films are struggling to do what their predecessors did. Certainly one of the biggest ones in recent memory would be Mission Impossible. I mean, nobody expected that film to do as bad as it did. So Marvel Studios finds himself in the same boat as many other studios where their films are making half or sometimes even less than expected. It's just how it's gone. But recently, Matt Shakman talked a little bit about the status of the Fantastic Four, because we know they're ready to get rolling on this, and Marvel Studios is looking at this as a big boost and sort of heralding in another future for the MCU, a sort of revival of interest with these new characters. And when asked about the whole situation with what's going on with Marvel Studios, how they've had some difficulties getting projects off the ground, constant delays, Shakman was pretty honest in saying that projects come out and sometimes the quality that the fans wanted or even was intended by the studio isn't there. And certainly we've seen that with the Fantastic Four brand. It's been the most troublesome brand that Marvel's, I think, ever had. It's just been a mess since the 90s. So he addresses this and says that they're just looking at putting out the best possible Fantastic Four film that can hopefully be what the fans want and that it fits into what the MCU is doing perfectly. And that they're taking their time, that they took their time, they didn't rush it out the door, and they're going to put out a film that they feel is the best that they can put out. He then goes on and praises some of the most recent Fantastic Four runs that we've had from specific writers, saying that they've done a good job of modernizing the Fantastic Four, and that hopefully they can kind of do that, and do what many Marvel Studios projects did with many characters, where you take these characters that aren't so well known and a lot of people have doubts about, and he points out Hawkeye and Thor and says, for example, if we just do that, we can make these characters successful by showing them to a whole new audience that might not be interested, like when they weren't interested in either of these characters. So essentially he's saying, this is the last ditch effort for the Fantastic Four. If these guys fail, if we fail with this, what are you gonna do? So they definitely, I think, understand the pressure, and certainly I hope they get this right.